Welcome back to Coffee and Candor. This is Ross,
Brandy,
Amber,
and Chris.
Today we're going to talk about something that I kind of got interested in here the other day. It's called Missing 411. There's been actually 2 documentaries made about it now, and there's been several books written. The guy that started it, his name is David Paulides. He's an ex-police officer.
You said that, and I thought of colitis, which is absolutely not the same thing.
And he was, I guess, at one of the state parks.
And if that is your last name, change it.
Yeah, change it to Smith or William
Jones, Bob,
or Jones or something.
But anyway, he was in one of the national parks, and he had 2 rangers. Apparently, this is how he says it. He had 2 rangers approach him.
He was just a cop, like.
And he was retired at that point.
But I know, but I mean,
he was a detective. He was a detective.
Okay, all right.
I mean, he wasn't like FBI.
No. Anyway, they approached him because they recognized him. They knew he was an author. And they started talking to him about strange disappearances that they had been involved with or known about in the national parks. And he got very interested in it.
Sorry. We forgot Amber's birthday present.
Okay.
But it pissed me off. I was supposed to bring it, and I looked at her, and I was like, oh, she... Sorry. It was Amber's birthday last week, and...
Yep, she celebrated her 15th anniversary of her 25th birthday.
She old. I mean, not as old as me.
That sounds better.
What, that you're old?
No.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So anyway, these guys approached him and started talking to him, and he got interested in the subject and started researching it. One thing that you're probably not aware of is there are literally, in the last several decades, thousands of disappearances in the national park system. He started looking at that, and he thought, some of these are kind of easily understood or explained, etc. But he found categories of them that weren't.
It's like
Hold on.
background music.
No,
It's just the past couple of days we've been doing the etc.
No, y'all have seen the movie Split?
Yes.
Okay, every time I hear someone say etc., all I hear in my head is that one personality going, etc.
So when you said it, me and Chris were both like,
Who said etc.?
You did.
etc.
You did.
I think I did.
You did.
Okay.
Because me and Chris were both like,
yeah, every time I hear it, I hear etc. The kid uses it totally out of context. It's great. Sorry, go ahead. You were saying
we've got that.
You were saying etc.
Beagle moaning in the bow, is it?
Yeah.
Let me see the son
they're-
of my people.
Yeah.
So anyway, as he got to research on this, he came up with a criteria to try and pare down some of these from the more easily explainable disappearances. There were, I believe it was 10 things.
Just trying to find like legitimate patterns.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
All right.
And like there was, I think, like 10 things. One of them was a point of separation. So, for instance, if the 4 of us were out in the national park,
Which isn't going to happen.
for some
Yeah, they got bugs out there.
I'll be out there. It doesn't bother me a damn bit.
They got mosquitoes and snakes, and I'm not a fan of that
unless
either.
it's fall, I'll go out during fall.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
There would be like a point of separation between like let's say Amber disappeared. For some reason, there would be a point of separation for Amber from us. Whether it be she went off to do her own thing, she got distracted by something else, whatever.
Ain't nobody ever heard of the motherfucking buddy system.
Yeah, I know, exactly. The time of disappearance. He started noticing that there was a cluster of these that were mid to late afternoon.
Okay.
Not saying that there were disappearances that didn't happen during the day or at night, but
Right,
there was
like the majority,
like a vast majority of them that were during that time field. Another one was boulder fields associated with a lot of boulders, rocks, mountainous terrain, that sort of thing.
Okay. That seems odd.
Near water, near a creek, river, lake, whatever. And usually there was a weather event associated either at the time, right before, or right after. And then also, the majority of them had some sort of disability or illness.
This is what gets me. Like, what? You know, there was some sort of either like a genetic disability or
well, and it wasn't necessarily
injury.
anything that was necessarily like that debilitating. I know
they just
one
all
older
had
man.
something wrong with them.
I know one older man. He was an ex-Army Ranger, and while he was in the military, he had gunpowder explode in his face, and so he lost like 90% of the sight in one eye, and so that was considered, on this list, disability or illness. So not necessarily something that like really debilitated them, but it was something to be considered. The other thing would be canines have trouble tracking them when they go out search and rescue. For instance, that same man, the canines could track him to the spot that they know he was last seen and that he was sitting hunting, I believe.
Okay.
But the canines could not track him from that spot. He was sitting on a rock, and
he wasn't like next to a cliff or a river.
Nope.
Get swept away by something.
And they could not track him from that spot.
I've heard lots of stories where people will be, now I don't know if these people ended up murdering the other person, but they'll be walking and, someone will be maybe just a few yards behind them and they'll be talking to them and walking and
for instance,
they'll turn around and look because they don't answer and they're just gone. They never heard anything.
Well, for instance, there was another disappearance, and this was a child. He was, I believe, 8 or 10, one of the two. It was in Colorado. And there is almost like a Christian youth camp deal. And this kid had gone up to fish on the creek that came down through the property. And one of the counselors had walked up there and said, "Hey, it's dinner time, come on," and started walking back down. And the kid was following him. At some point, he turned around and looked, and the kid was gone. I mean,
I bet that counts. I
was
bet that
walking
counselor
behind him and he was gone.
Probably shit his pants. He's like, "Oh my god, I lost a kid."
Yeah. Well, there's a lot. I'm telling you, some of them are just crazy. Another thing, missing clothing. They will find where they have boots and socks are sitting somewhere, pants, shirts, hats, whatever, just missing clothing. Just some of these. They have later through the years recovered bodies. Some of them they have found these people or children alive.
Oh wow!
But they have no explanation for what happened.
Amber does.
Yeah, I read something.
No. What you told me in the car, and you're like, "Don't you fucking steal my thing."
Oh, it's aliens.
Oh, that was my thing. I've been waiting all this time to go. It's pretty clear it's aliens, and that's why they all have something wrong with them, so the aliens can study what's wrong.
And that's why they have no clothes on, because it's easier to probe your
Anally
butthole.
probe somebody if they're
The guy that wrote those books is also a big believer of Bigfoot. So maybe
I don't know.
Bigfoot is there is a theory that Bigfoot's an alien. So Bigfoot is the man on the ground. He gets them.
He's the scout.
Mm-hmm. He finds them.
He finds them, strips them down,
and he's like,
holds them butthole first to the aliens.
Hey, yank!
Oh
I got you a butthole to probe.
To be fair, some of these disappearances, I mean, you kind of think they could kind of lean that way, but then some of them,
there's only one
bizarre
other. Well, there's only one other explanation, and that's the top secret government program.
Okay.
No, time travel.
Oh my God!
Which is a top secret government program. No,
why are y'all assholes?
It's Outlander. It's the fucking Outlander theory.
Oh, they stole that from a fucking top secret government program.
Philadelphia Experience?
No, not the Philadelphia Experience. I think that was
Pyramid.
You said there's boulders.
Tom Hanks.
You said there's boulders. Bet some of those boulders have on either side. They walk in between them. Boom! Fucking a Scottish Highlander.
You two need to quit smoking crack.
I have never smoked crack.
Another criteria.
Scottish guy. Maybe the aliens just gave them weed or something, and they're really high, and they're actually probing them
right now in the butthole.
And they think you are a stunning Highlander. No, not really. I'm a gray.
Your probe sure is a little bit oversized for what you're doing.
It's not the size of the probe.
That's what people. That's what people with small probes would say.
It's not.
Stop! You're pissing Ross off. Come on. Stop! You're pissing Ross off. Etc.
I want it noted that I've been pissing Ross off for almost 30 years. I don't give a fuck.
And it's culminating today. He's gonna slip. All right, what else?
Go ahead.
No, stop it! Don't be like that. Come on,
I'm done now.
we got.
For this second.
Yeah.
What do we do?
Found in an area previously searched.
That
Because
seems.
of the
I mean,
aliens
like,
come
like-
back. Like,
Oh my god.
no, I'm serious. I mean, if they weren't there and now they're there.
Yeah, it's
Like the old man that had lost his eyesight. They literally took string, lined up like
A grid.
arms reach apart, and I mean gridded this thing up. The guy said it looked like a spider web after they got through because there were so many strings going through there where they had crisscrossed.
But they didn't ever find him, did they?
No, they never did find him. But I'm saying areas that they know have been searched, and then 3, 4, 5 years later, all of a sudden, clothing pops up, remains pop up. You know,
Bigfoot
that sort
put
of
them
thing.
back.
Also, when they do find remains,
They're naked.
unknown cause of death. They cannot determine a cause of death. There was a lady that was discovered in a creek, completely naked.
What?
she was probed to death,
Oh my god.
butthole penetration to death. That's the cause.
That would be.
Okay, are these people found skeletonized?
No, this lady-
No, like this
She
lady.
looked like she was just, she wasn't even decayed.
Yeah.
Okay.
After how many
Matter,
years?
matter of fact, well, this wasn't years
This
on
one
her.
was so
this
small.
one was
Okay,
like
okay.
months.
So they should have been able to find something on her.
Yeah.
Like if it was
And-
Yeah,
and
I
I
mean,
mean-
because
and I
like
mean,
they showed a
literally,
picture and blurred parts of it, but you
guy-
could see like she still had flesh, you know.
Yeah, yeah. And the coroner said, well, no, there's no physical evidence of hypothermia, but I'm ruling it hypothermia.
Well,
Huh?
that
She hadn't
That's
even
not how that
turned
works.
like funny
that's
colors.
professional.
Yeah.
So,
You know, her- you know.
so was this particular woman? Did she show normal signs of decomp?
No, that's what I'm saying. She looked like she was asleep, naked in a thing. She looked just as
In the creek. Laying
So
in the
they
creek.
found her
Really?
quick.
Completely
Apparently,
laying in the
yeah.
creek. Within, like they usually do a search 6, 7, 8, 9 days, and she was found during that. I don't remember that one,
okay.
whether it was 7, 8,
But I
9
mean,
days.
even
Okay,
then-
no, I thought it was like months later.
But she was also well away from where she was last seen, too.
Oh,
And I mean,
okay.
her clothes
All right.
weren't
But
nearby.
they did say
She's stark naked.
she was an older woman.
Uh-huh.
But they said that her and her husband did a lot of hiking, and that she was exceptionally well conditioned for her age.
Okay.
But still, I mean, long way from where she was last seen.
Which ones where you get hot? Hypothermia? Hyperthermia?
Well, hypothermia is
Well,
when,
it's all-
when your body temperature drops below a certain level. It's like 90. If your body drops below like 94 degrees.
Okay, so I mean, if you're in a situation where you get cold and stuff, like you can get frostbite or something like that.
Exactly.
If you're in a situation where you get like super hot, are there any signs like after death?
I would think there'd be like stuff like broken capillaries and stuff,
Oh yeah.
like petechia and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that might because like when you get that
Well, you
hot,
think about it like
the little micro
heat stroke.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you get yeah. The other one was these that fit the criteria are geographically clustered. There is something like 28 clusters
that goes to my stone theory.
in the United States.
Do any of those line up with ley lines?
Y'all are going to be doing a thing about me after I murder her.
Okay. Well, now it's premeditation. So,
You gonna burn, bitch?
Do any of those interact with or
Ley lines.
intersect.
I don't know
intersect
that
with ley
anybody's
lines?
looked at that.
That would be
they,
really
they
interesting.
intersect with national parks.
But like, but I mean, I'm kind of kidding, but I'm kind of not about the standing, the stone things because those usually mark ley lines. When they have the standing stones and the stone circles, and what for some reason throughout time there have been oddities there, and that's part of the reason they're there. People like as warnings and as places to. So I mean, that the fact that it's clustered makes me,
Yeah, that's kind of strange. Like I said, there's like 28 clusters in the United States.
2 in Arkansas.
2 of them are actually in Arkansas.
Where?
In the Ozarks.
Okay.
Well, let's see
And
if
I
any of us
say
disappear.
in Arkansas, but like that cluster would be dipping into the Ozarks and into Missouri.
Okay.
And then the Ouachitas there on the edge of Arkansas into Oklahoma.